Talk the tea with Nikki and Emoji. The tea, the tea, the tea, the time, the truth, the talk.
Feel the night pain. Get up off your sass. Queens ring the party. Get up off your sass.
This is the tea.
And now, Burlington's own darling TV queens, straight from the heart of the Queen City, Emoji, Nightmare, and Nikki Champagne!
This is the tea.
Welcome to The Tea, two queens bringing together arts and activism. I'm Nikki Champagne.
And I'm Emoji Nightmare. We have a very exciting lineup on today's show, including the creators of the Tea theme song, Rue Mevlana.
Feel the night pain.
Yep.
We also have an exclusive interview with Susan Hartman from the Pride Center, our new executive director.
Yes, we got to sit down with her a couple weeks ago, and
We did.
and dish on what is going on at the Pride Center. So we will be sure to see that. And we also have WCAX's Darren Perron, award-winning news journalist.
I was able to host a gig with him one time, and he brought his Emmy with him. Yeah, he
Oh
said,
my gosh.
"Have you met my girl, Emmy?"
Oh.
It's like, okay, queen.
Sit down, be humble.
It was amazing. I got to touch it too, so.
Oh my gosh, did Emmy give their consent?
I did. I asked
Okay,
for Emmy's
okay.
consent first.
Consent is sexy.
It is. It's so sexy. Speaking of sexy, let's talk about this pride wear that I have on today. It's in honor of this discussion going on in regards to the pride flag. What the heck?
So they added some colors to it. What's the big deal?
So, just to give some background, in Philadelphia, they hung a new pride flag that has black and brown on it to signify the person of color community within the greater queer community. And people are shook. They cannot.
Baba shook?
They are Baba shook about this, and they cannot handle it. I don't care.
I don't either. I mean, honestly,
Well,
the more
I do
the merrier.
care. Let me correct that. I do care in the respect that, like, we should be representing and really showcasing our, like, person of color community, because so often when you think of pride, you're thinking of, like, not to say, like, white pride, but, like, yeah, you're seeing a bunch of white gay men dancing around in the streets. So why not showcase that? Like, we have a really diverse community, and I think saying that race is a component of that and the intersectionality is not a bad thing by any means.
And the rainbow is all about bringing together every facet of our community. So adding in those two extra stripes, I mean, I think it's good. I think it's a great decision.
Right, and the original one had 2 extra stripes to begin
really?
with. Yep, so it had a bright pink and an indigo. But
Ooh.
apparently there was not a lot of hot pink fabric out in the day,
Oh.
so we had to take that one off, and they went down to just these colors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, because 7 would have been a weird number. 6.
You can count.
I can, counting with queens. Well,
I just thought of like Sesame Street and the count.
1,
One.
2, 3.
Well, anyway.
So last week we did not have a new episode
No.
because we decided to launch something new instead.
I know.
Your little baby that you made.
Oh, I birthed something. Yeah, we made a website, and yeah, it's really it's great. So nightpain.com, and we are housing our full episodes, our interviews, and then our web exclusives, which this week included a little blog I wrote on my trip down to Provincetown, where I met Sewell Whittemore, and she was just fantastic. So to give you a little bit of a background, you'll want to go to the website to see it all.
Right.
But
Pictures included.
Yeah. Some really fun pictures.
Very fun. I
Yeah.
love them. She's a true queen.
She really is. So Sewell lived here in Burlington for, I think, over 2 decades, had Cato Gifts on Church Street, which is where Kiss the Cook is now, and was just always very active in the equal rights movement, the female reproductive issues, and worked for Vermont Woman, which is a newspaper out in South Hero.
Awesome.
So yeah, she was great, and we got to stay with her. She got to show us Provincetown, and we took some photos.
Such pretty photos.
And-
And she lent you some clothes.
Yes, you'll have to
and
see
jewelry.
you'll have to see the outfit I'm wearing in the photo shoot. You can check that out on nightpain.com. That is a Sewell outfit, head to toe. Sewell.
Great.
So yeah, it was great.
Well,
I'm back now. I'm not gonna move to Provincetown anytime
not?
soon. No.
Are you going
It's
back for Bear
nice.
Week?
No.
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 Did you find the footlong hot dogs?
I did, and you can see
Yes.
that picture up on my Instagram
Perfect.
at Emoji Nightmare. And you'll see. There was a straight couple there. They were waiting for their footlong, and I said, "Act natural." And I scurried across the street, and I posed with the sign,
Act natural.
"Act natural." And he said, "Tag me on Instagram," so I did.
Great.
Yep.
So
Tag
speaking
that ass.
of wonderful outfits and tagging our theme song producers, we have Rue Mevlana here with us today, who provided us a wonderful music video as their intro. So let's go watch that. Now that is just the perfect intro for the guests who sing our theme song that gets stuck in my head every single week. Rue Mevlana, welcome.
Thank you for having us. This is the tea.
Can we do like a group sing along?
Just to feel the night.
Who sings that? Because that is so high pitched. Holy crap! Like we cannot hit it.
We can't. We've
Diva.
tried.
So
Diva here.
congratulations.
Yeah.
Shantae, you stay, because that is like. Did you see our clip of us singing it in
Yes.
the studio?
Yes.
On break?
Yes. I saw it and I was like, oh my god. I immediately like messaged it to her. I was like, you have to watch this. It's so cute. It's so freaking cute.
We
I
forget
think we-
sometimes, like when we're just hanging out for the next guest, that we're all still being recorded.
And we almost shattered the glass when we tried to hit that high note. It was piercing the ears, honestly.
But yeah, I obviously thank you so much for creating our theme song, because it's amazing.
fun.
I know. We had so much fun doing it.
Just
Yeah.
so everyone knows, like we had not met, and how did that even come across? Like a mutual friend maybe mentioned it or something? I don't even know.
I saw that you were doing the show.
Okay.
And I got really excited. And I was like, because, like I used to love the Cherry and Yolanda show, and I've always felt like there's been a huge void, like in this town. Like there needs to be a voice and like a place, a platform that you created. And so I was all excited, and I've always wanted to write a theme song. It's just been like one of those things. And like we work together all the time on myriad of projects, and I was like, I want to do it. So I was just like, threw it out there. I was like, they probably have one already, and they won't want ours, but whatever. I'll try.
Just not gonna lie, we were like, what if it's like, I have no idea.
You're like, what?
What if we don't want to use it? I was like, you never know. But it's like, it's a free theme song. Like they're just like doing this for us because they like are a fan of the concept. Like that's amazing. And really, my only the only time that I ever saw you was at Drag Ball.
Yep.
And I'm always like stuck in the small room, and you guys always perform on the big stage.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
So,
I
like-
never get to see your performances,
Right.
and you never get to see our performances.
Right.
We need
So
to
anyway.
change things up.
Yes.
I know, right? Come on stage with us.
Please. The only way we'll
Looking
get
out
over
for
that.
next year. Keep tuned. So I would love to go over that intro video that we saw.
Yeah.
What was that mashup?
Okay, so it's all our like music videos. So we've been playing music for a long time, right? for a long time. We started in like the early 2000s, the early aughts, and
Don't count.
yeah,
Stop.
just stop counting. I know, right? And then, since that time, like, have produced stuff with the help of VCAM. I mean, I love VCAM, and that's the other reason I like wanted to do the theme song, is because I love this place. Like, I think it's a great community like source, to get your words out there, or your creative like juices flowing or whatever. So we made a bunch of music videos
Using the equipment here?
Using the equipment here, yeah.
Nice.
I mean, sometimes we'll use like other people's equipment.
Yeah.
And I have gear at home and like, all that sort of stuff. But like, this is a great resource. And then everything we do like airs, here. And then, so that's like all the videos from all of our previous albums. We have four studio albums. Actually, we brought you some gifts.
Oh my
So we
goodness.
just re-released our first album, which is so trashy. It's Drop the F-Bomb. There are some like nasty songs on this.
Oh, we love Nasty.
Nasty.
But 10 years ago, and the limited edition vinyl
It was
comes
10 years
with.
ago. We're so grown now,
I
right?
know. We're so sophisticated. We weren't drunk at all when we wrote the T. No. But we re-released it. It's like out. You can listen to it on Spotify and like all those things.
Wow, you're so official.
And then we
And
put it on.
cassette.
And we put it on
Oh my
cassette because we're so kitschy like that.
You are so hipster.
So those are for
of
you.
Wow, thank you so much.
And then we have some of our 2 more recent albums. Popcorn is our most recent album, and Synthetic Emotion was released before that.
That's popcorn.
Oh, wait a second. Those are the shoes you're wearing now.
That's right.
There we go.
Oh my
Because the
goodness.
shoes I had that I wanted to wear didn't work with these pants.
So these are for you as well.
Wow.
We have a lot of music to listen to now.
We do.
Yeah.
Oh my god, this is very gory. It's giving me like some
Michael
soft-
Heaney did our cover art. Michael Heaney's a
what
great
is it?
artist.
Yeah, he's an amazing
in town.
photographer.
That one, it was a piece that he did, and I saw it in a show, and I was like, can we please use your art, the one with the heart. I was like, I love that, and I think it works really well with like what we've got for the concept of that album. And then the other one was a photo shoot, which we actually used in a music video for
Oh, yeah,
shooting
that's right, 'cause we
Starlight.
shot a
shot
video
the
that day,
video
that's
while we
right.
were doing the photo
With
shoot.
the watermelons.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw some
Yes.
of those. I was casually stalking.
Yeah. Nice.
Casual.
I know. I'm always
Watermelon.
casually stalking
Yeah,
everybody on
it's good. It's
Facebook.
It's a good thing to do.
So
You write a lot of these songs. I
We
just
write
noticed,
most
sorry.
of them. I mean, occasionally we'll do a cover. We did a
Yeah.
cover of Lofty Neck on Popcorn, which was from Return of the Jedi, and it's written in Huttese, and it's sung in Huttese, which is Jabba the Hutt's language.
Yeah.
Is that what no, who am I?
yeah, that's you.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah.
A slug.
It's a really, really good song.
Yeah, it's such a good song. And it got cut when they redid the whole when George Lucas went in and like did his remastering or whatever. And but we love that song, and I found the sheet music, so we were like, we're gonna do a cover of that one. But everything else is written by us. We've got
We have quite a book.
we have quite a songbook. Yeah. Because we write songs
just
all the
can't
time. We
stop.
get together at least like
my God.
usually once a week and work on music. and then I'm a little OCD, so I work on the music incessantly. Like
Just all the
So
time.
then Hannah
all
comes
the
back.
time. And then
it's
Hannah
like-
comes in, and then Hannah comes in and is like, she reins it in, like she
We
like
do that for each other, I think.
yeah,
We let each other go, and then we pull each other back.
right.
Catch and release.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's a good working relationship. It really works because it's hard to find someone that you like, work well together with,
Tell me
and
about
that
it.
you just that you have that simpatico,
Yeah. Do we have that?
I think you do. We do.
I think you do. At least, I mean, I don't know what happens when you're off camera, but
It's me like apologizing mostly.
I'm sorry.
I didn't mean to.
I crossed that line again.
Yeah, but I really want to see this performance in the future of. Can you say the name of the song?
Rue Mevlana or wait,
Oh no.
Shooting
the-
Starlight? Lofty Neck?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. And Shelby actually sings that one. She's got it down.
Shelby.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
her song.
Yeah, like
Wait, so there are
There's
more
more.
members.
there. Okay, so Rue Mevlana is not like us two. Like there's a lot of people in it. Like, there's a core group. There's Mariah Vallejos and Shelby and Rebecca and Allison Bannister. And then, you know, through the years, there have been a whole bunch of other people that have contributed. And then our shows, you know, like, we'll sometimes have a cast of like 15 to 20 in our shows.
And you like create like theatrical, there's like a lot going on.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes we'll go out and we'll like pretend we're a real band because it is electronic. So like, you know, sometimes I'll have the keyboard and I'll like plunk the chords and like, we'll have a guitar and be like,
yeah, lots of distortion.
I got a power chord here. I'm just gonna play it because
most pop artists do.
Yeah,
when they go out. I mean,
true that.
Yes, but we do understand like music theory and like we're studio musicians. So, but that's why like most often we'll create these like phantasmagorias that you see on stage. So you have like it's a series of like images. So it's like a nightmare, like a dream, you know, like where, you know, like something's
kind of
happening.
like that compilation you created almost.
Yes, exactly. Where it's just like flashes of things, and we have like monsters and then creatures and like phantoms and.
I like that. We need to definitely be in one of these.
Yes, yes. I mean, and it's a collaborative effort. Like, rarely the shows are like so structured. Like sometimes we work on like it's a very loose structure though, and then we get together and rehearse together and see what comes up. You know, someone's like, I found this umbrella I want to use, and I'm like, okay, like let's try it out, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, we all kind of like unanimously are like, yeah, save the umbrella.
Or like, how about we don't?
How about we don't? We could do that, or we could not.
We've been in some drag practices like that before.
Right, yeah. Because I mean, essentially, we're drag queens too. You know, like, like we're just putting on drag shows. We just write our own material. You know, like, that's it.
And that's what gets you on the big stage.
Right, and it seems very queer. Just like super queer.
It's queer. It's all about like sex and like drugs and emotions and like all the things, that lurid things that we like deal with in like our own lives, you know what I mean? Like, and you know, from inspirations that we get from watching TV or what, you know, reading a book or whatever, anywhere. Yeah. Really, you know.
So, what are some of the musical influences for Rue M?
That's a really good question.
I mean, I like pop music. I mean, lately I'm like Selena Gomez obsessed.
I love Selena Gomez. Have we actually talked? No, we have. We've gone down a YouTube hole about her.
Sometimes we forget that we're working on music and we go down a YouTube hole for a little while.
Oh, he has a really nice big computer.
Yeah, so we get like
easy to get in trance.
Yeah. So, you know, pop music.
Have you seen the Bad Liar video that she just put out?
Oh, no, she has a video for it? Oh my God. That song is like on my playlist.
Cut to.
I know, like, enough of this interview. We gotta see Selena Gomez.
She does 12 different characters.
Whoa, really?
Oh, wow. Like she's
That's
like
interesting.
like she's having like a personality like split thing.
It's inspired by something, but I can't remember what it is.
Oh, neat.
Some movie of some sort.
Neat.
Yeah.
That's good because usually her videos aren't that good.
I know, I'm not a fan of her videos generally.
Check it out.
Okay, I'll check it out. I'll check it out. Yeah, but I love her
Pop music.
So pop music, and then like, I don't know, glam music, like, you know,
glam.
like T-Rex, and you know, of course Bowie, and you know, and then you got Madonna, and then I am a disco historian. Like when you guys come over to my
Sylvester?
house, sometime, I mean, like, if you
That's like my one, like, I feel like I have a little bit of street cred when I drop Sylvester.
drop a name.
You mean like Sylvester?
Like Sylvester.
Otherwise, I'm like very, I'm like really bad.
Yeah.
At least you have one.
But see, I love that. But like, you get into Sylvester, and then you're like, well, who produced that? Oh, Peter Crowley. Okay, like now I'm gonna like listen to Peter Crowley. Like, what has he produced? You know, and then you like go through like.
I do that with songwriters sometimes.
Yeah, see,
like
exactly.
Julia Michaels, who now has a
who's
hit.
that?
Exactly, she writes for a lot of songs for Selena Gomez and Gwen Stefani and with Justin Tranter, who's queer, and they're like a power couple in the songwriting.
Oh my God.
So yeah,
I
do the
love
same
nerding
thing.
out to music. It's so much fun. So like, I'm a disco historian. So you could come over to my house and I could give you the history of disco from like, you know, on vinyl, because I collect vinyl like it's going out of style.
Well, it did, but it's
It
back
did,
now.
but it's back.
So good job.
I was collecting it while it was out of style, and I would see these things, and I'd be like, there's a million copies of that. I'll pick it up sometime. And now I'm like, I want something, and I'm like, I have to pay $30 for that. I'm like, when it was like in the throwaway bins, like. 10 years ago.
I got some like Tammy Wynette cassettes from my grandmother. Those I will hold on
Yeah.
to.
Oh, yeah,
Don't ever
Cassettes
let
will
that
have.
go.
I mean, they're already having. Like,
kind of
they're
having
coming
a
back little bit.
resurgence. I mean, yeah.
Every
I mean,
high schooler's really fortunate right now.
They're hideous, like, quality. That's the problem with cassettes, is they do deplete. Like, vinyl, if it's taken care of, is, generally stays, it stays.
Yeah. You get to take care of it.
You got to take care of it. Whereas tapes,
You can't run
you
it.
play
you
it.
run it ragged.
Yeah,
literally.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So people like, and that's what happened to a lot of records, is like they were stored in someone's like moldy basement for a while, and then like you go and pull them out and you're like, oh, you destroyed that entire Beatles collection. Awesome.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you're truly passionate about music. You talked earlier about like getting into music theory. How did you get involved in the first place? Like, what made you want to start?
Oh God.
Dig deep into those memories.
Yeah, I mean, as a kid, I always like synthesized music. Like I always liked, the Pointer Sisters, were like that breakout album was like my, oh my God, everything. And I loved the sound and like Flashdance and like that sort of thing. And I always wanted a synthesizer. I was like, I need a synthesizer. I need a synthesizer. So when I could turn like 17 or so, like I saved my pennies to get myself a synthesizer.
What was it?
It was a Kawai K11. It was like $300, which was like, oh my God, so much money for
With
me.
inflation, that's
Yeah, I mean, like, but as a kid, I mean, like when you're 17,
That's a lot of pennies.
That's a lot of pennies that you have to save up for. And then I researched, software. So like my first music program was Markup the Unicorns Performer, which I doubt even exists anymore. And it was like one of the first like sequencing like things you could do. And so I made these really bad demos.
Like with loop?
Yeah, like looping and like playing it in, and like you couldn't do like live, like you couldn't sing into it or anything. It all had to be done MIDI, like into the computer and out and all that stuff. And it was always like fucking up and like giving you a hard time, but
So totally self-taught then.
totally self-taught. Yeah, and like I don't have any like I'm not classically trained.
No, but you can play piano.
Yeah. I can
plunk. It's called
I can
plunking.
plunk the piano. I can like
I think
I
you
can
have a
make the
little
piano my
finesse.
bitch, like for sure. But it's hard. Like I'm like I wouldn't come on your show and play and sing, because that
Well.
would I'd be like,
Just wait for season 2. We're going to be live. We're going to have you on every episode performing the theme song live.
this one though.
Yeah. Are you just
this
a vocalist, or is
one?
there?
No, she can play. She can play guitar. She's played in so many bands. Like I've only really ever done Rue Mevlana. This one has been in so many bands. I mean, Dialogue for Three. What was the band you were in?
Remember?
What was-
I don't remember them all. Let's see. So yeah, Dialogue for Three, the Magogs.
The Magogs.
Oh, I was in this band with 6 guys. That was fun.
Was that the one you did at
The
the?
Hero Cycle, they were called. That was fun.
Was that the one from Waking Windows last year?
No, that was my friend Steve Williams, his side project. Now I can't remember the name because you just asked me. I have a really bad memory.
Me too.
I feel you, yeah.
Totally.
But it was really cool because this album we recorded a long time ago, like 10 years ago or something, and he decided that he wanted to perform it live. So we had all of these awesome musicians for one show, and I got to play and sing. It was so much fun. Yeah, we performed.
Like
but
it was like
one show.
every musician in Burlington, like every
Like a supergroup.
like a
It was a
supergroup. It was like
supergroup.
a Swale and like
Eric Olson.
yeah,
and then-
Rough Francis was
Yep,
there,
yep,
and
Bobby
then
and his
and then like the
brothers.
Smittens were there.
Yep, it was
and
crazy.
It was crazy. It was like a who's who of like the Burlington
Right,
like
'cause
rock
Colin was
music
in it, Colin
scene.
Perry, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then however many other bands were like, I mean, there was so many instruments. I was like standing there. I was like,
Yeah.
You couldn't even like
two,
move
like,
around.
I'm
You're
like-
I have
No,
to stay.
so
I know,
Yeah.
like there were
Yeah.
like
I am
there were
stationed.
people like on the
I know we
floor
had
in
some of the
front, and then some
guitars
people in the
in the
back. I was
yeah.
like, there's a lot of music happening right now.
It was so loud. It was
Yeah,
so awesome.
it really
Oh my
was loud.
God.
I had to kind of go in the back. It's like I've done some damage, so I have a little like issue. So
Yeah.
I have to have my plugs in. But it was good. It was really good.
It sounds like an amazing
My first days on
experience.
junk. That's what it's called.
Yes.
I knew
There we
would
go.
come to
It
me.
comes back around.
Right? Yeah. 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 So I've had, worked on a lot of different projects locally. My history, my father's a minister, so I grew up singing a lot of gospel songs, and my mom was into folk music, so I really like folk music, and I sang in high school, so like all that stuff that you do. I really like classical music. I listen to a lot of classical on my own time, and I love country as well, and pop. I really like rock music. Like Judas Priest, I feel like is a place where we really connect.
Oh yeah.
And Pink Floyd.
Oh yeah.
Some of that like kind of 1970s like crazy rock music and noisy stuff. But I like it all.
I love Rob Halford from Judas Priest. Are you familiar?
He directs me to sing like him.
I know.
sometimes.
I'm always like, you have to like. This is Rob Halford. This
Yeah.
is Rob Halford right
And
now. So
then-
he's a
yeah.
gay. He's a gay, and
Oh,
he's
one of
a
them.
leather
He's
daddy.
one of those.
He's one of those.
He's a leather daddy. So he comes
Oh.
out. I've seen him live.
Oh.
He comes out with like
Yes.
fringe leather, and he stands there, and he's got an operatic voice.
Mm-hmm.
So he like has this power, and he can. Oh my God, his
Sounds
voice.
very subtle.
His voice is gorgeous. He comes riding out in a Harley, like at the beginning of every
Uh-huh.
show, like
On stage?
on stage.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're going down a
Dreams are made
YouTube
of.
hole.
Yeah,
tonight.
you're going down a YouTube hole. You're gonna have to
We
watch some
are.
Turbo Lover, Hell Bent for Leather,
I
right?
will
Oh, God, I
certainly
love
message
that.
her and tell her,
Yeah.
get me that out of
Right,
this hole.
it's so good. So like, she loves she'll come over and like when we go down our YouTube hole, I'm like, I have never heard of this. What is this that we're like checking out right now?
But you
know?
do that to me too.
Yeah,
It's good.
yeah.
Well, I am ready to go down this YouTube hole, but I mean, I'm even more excited to listen to our theme song just over and over again on repeat. Like, thank you
Yay.
again for all of your help with that.
Yeah, of
and
course.
we look forward to listening to all of this music. We have so much to dive into now.
Nice.
So, thank you so much for joining us
Thank
today.
you so much for having us.
And we better see each other before the next drag ball.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes,
Well,
of
you have to come
Yeah.
over, and we're gonna like listen to
Perfect.
like who was her Michaels?
Julia Michaels.
Julie Michaels. You're gonna
She
show.
has
You're
a
gonna
top,
show
like,
us.
20 hit right now.
Yeah, you're gonna show us
issues.
all
Did
the
you perform
songs
it
that
yet?
she's
No, you
written.
I have not.
And then like,
Yeah.
and then we're gonna go teach you about Judas Priest and
Okay.
disco.
Oh, this sounds
Perfect.
like
It'd be like
a
a nice
perfect,
like.
yeah.
It's a date. Ready for it.
Right. Oh, thank you.
It's gonna complement each other so well.
I know, right?
Priest and Julia Michaels. Great. Cool. Well, thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
so
having
much.
us.
Do you feel the night pain? You
With-
feel it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
been
feeling
felt?
it.
Oh, I feel the night pain.
Get up off your sass.
Queens bring the party.
They do. They do indeed.
All right. Where are we going?
We are going to go now to our exclusive interview with Susan Hartman from the Pride Center, our new executive director. Let's go watch it. And we are back with an exciting new guest from the South up to our neck of the woods, Susan Hartman, the new executive director of the Pride Center.
Hi, y'all.
Hi, y'all.
I'm very happy to be here. This is a lot of fun.
Oh, we're so excited to have you.
Thank you.
So, first things first, what brought you up to Vermont from the South? You came from Arkansas, now
Yeah.
you're in the mountains.
Well, I love this country. I want to see everything and experience everything that it has to offer. I had traveled New England many years ago, like as a young pup, and always wanted to come back. I have friends in New Hampshire, and I told them someday I'll be up there and spend some time with y'all. So when this opportunity presented itself, I just thought this is meant to be, and this is my time. So that's why I'm here.
That is awesome.
So you're from Arkansas, like born and raised Arkansas?
Fayetteville, Arkansas, Northwest
Fayetteville.
Arkansas.
So Northwest.
Arkan-
Okay, I'm doing
Little
geography.
northwest
So it's like
corner.
near Kansas City or Oklahoma-y. What's Northwest?
It's on the border, right there on the border, Missouri and
Okay.
Oklahoma,
Okay.
home of Walmart. Home of
Oh.
Sam's, home of University of Arkansas, Go Hogs Go, Pig Suey, that kind of stuff. So,
You know, I don't know much about Arkansas, regrettably.
I mean, I'll be honest. I was trying to picture a map in my head, and I can't.
Oh, you can't? It kind
No.
of looks like an anvil a little bit. I don't even, yeah.
do you know where
yeah.
Missouri is?
It's above
What?
Louisiana.
If you know where Missouri is
So-
at,
Missouri.
Okay.
Missouri.
So Missouri
Oh, man,
is.
I love the accent.
Do you know? Okay, so there's like a chef in the United States. The states
Just
like make
one
a chef.
okay.
No, have you not seen this? There's like Michigan makes the hat. No, it's not Michigan. Yes, it is. Michigan makes the hat of the chef, and then Ohio is the face with the nose, and then there's the stomach, and then Louisiana's the boot. That's all I remember.
We're right on top of Louisiana.
Perfect. I know where
Boot
that
cuff.
is. Oh,
There you go.
awesome.
I mean, I've never heard this. I'm going to have to Google it.
Okay, I'm gonna show you a map after
Yeah.
this segment because there's a chef, and he's also holding a platter, which
I've
is
never
I
heard
think
this
like
either.
Kentucky's on top. It's like the fried chicken. I don't know. I really hope this is true, and I'm not making this up. Ugh. Well, geography lessons.
There you go.
I'm definitely learning some things here.
Yeah, a lot
I
of
know.
things.
As I'm sure you are coming up here and starting this position.
Well, it's really neat to learn just different ways people do things, a different way people live, and I like learning about different geographies. So it's been a pretty interesting month. I showed up, and started on May 1st, and it's gone by so fast. But it's been a fun month to spend time up here, and there's a lot of work ahead of us to do, though. So
Right.
we've started our new fiscal year in July, and we've got a lot of work to do toward fund development. We're 70% funded by federal grants,
Right.
which so many nonprofit organizations would love to have 70% of their funding coming from federal grants, but it's a place where you don't want to be. We need to develop our individual giving, our corporate giving, and we need to diversify our funding streams just a little more than they are now. We also really need to prepare for the next 20 years. This will be the 20th year for the organization's existence, and we've got to prepare for the next 20 years. We need to speak to our community, find out what the community needs from the center, and then design our strategic plan after that. So it's a lot of work.
But exciting work. You can change
Absolutely.
it all up.
Absolutely. Well, it's a blessing and an honor to work for my own community. There are so many people who would love that opportunity, and I have that opportunity, and I am grateful for that every single day.
That's so awesome. And you've been doing nonprofit work for 30 years now.
Since I was
right?
18.
Since you were 18.
Yes.
So where did you start?
I actually started out at Crisis Intervention Center. I was one of the first folks to work at the local suicide prevention center in Northwest Arkansas, and spent a number of years there answering the crisis hotline. Moved from there into domestic violence, sexual assault, and then decided to take a break and got a real cushy job at Girl Scouts, where I didn't have to answer my phone at 2 in the morning.
So did you get free cookies?
Yeah, let's
I
talk about the
got-
important thing.
I had the opportunity to have as many free cookies as
my
I
goodness.
wanted.
Perks.
But I
yeah,
didn't.
those are some
I
great
didn't
perks.
partake as much as I could have. I was the director of development. I was a fundraiser, so that meant I had cookies all year round.
You had to sell those
Wait,
cookies.
I
You
had to
make
use
sure
those cookies
yeah.
to get into the door of
All
potential
year
donors.
round? Oh,
All
that,
year
that
round.
sounds like dangerous territory.
Not a job for me.
Yeah, those thin mints, though.
And I could teach you some recipes.
Oh,
you know,
do I smell a cooking segment in our future?
Yes.
I'll teach you how to make ice cream sandwiches out of Thin Mints.
Oh, we're there. We're there.
I'm salivating right now just thinking about it.
We're doing
And then,
this.
Yes.
kind of on the flip side of that, I've been a volunteer as well. So I have volunteered and on various boards and in various positions. So I really have lived the community service life for my entire adult life.
Right, and such a diverse community.
Absolutely. I've had a lot of interesting experiences when I sit there and kind of look back at my time. I've worked with service dogs. I've worked with people with physical disabilities. I've worked with hunger relief. I feel like I've done a whole lot of different things, but it all is geared toward my ultimate goal of saving the world, leaving it a little bit better place than what I found it.
I was going to say, that's a big goal. Whatever, you know. I got it. Save the world.
We're here on this earth for hopefully a long time, so
Right.
it means that we can do a lot of good work while we're here.
So is that what started your interest in nonprofit work, was saving the world?
I was raised in a home where there was a lot of chaos. I was raised in poverty. I was raised in a home where domestic violence, kind of ruled our days. And I survived that. And I think a part of me just wanted to use my experiences to hopefully make other people's lives better. Because I had experienced that. I feel a closeness and an understanding of people who are experiencing those problems. I was homeless or home insecure for most of my childhood. And I've lived in condemned housing, and so I know what it means to not know if you're going to have supper the next day when you get home from school. And so I've just always been driven to try and improve this world.
And you have such a unique perspective in the work as well, like understanding the struggles that are coming up in each segment, because these are issues that are affecting our community across the board.
Oh, absolutely. I worry the most about the individuals in our community who are dealing with unemployment, underemployment, homelessness, and people say, well, with all these new laws, y'all got it made now. We don't. There are some major issues in our community that we still have to address, and there are just basic quality of life issues that we have to make sure that we are addressing and providing opportunities for.
That's right.
So what are your top 3 goals for your role in this position? What are you setting out to do?
Well, we have, I have really kind of 5 different goals.
Okay, wow. I said it at 3.
You did set it at 3.
I didn't want to intimidate you, but 5 is good. I want to hear them.
We have to, this kind of next fiscal year, the 5 things that I'm focused on, first of all, is financial stability, establishing a strong fund development program, looking at the current program and seeing kind of what needs we need to fill immediately, but then also doing some sort of needs assessment to work toward a strategic plan, find out what it is that our community needs from us. I also want to look at a little bit of facility development.
Ooh.
What are the current facilities?
Well, the current facilities just need a little refreshing. So we need to look at who is using our facility, who's using the center, who's not using the center, why aren't they using the building, and kind of do some things. I'd like to see a fresh coat of paint, maybe a few branding graphics, and just kind of brighten it up a little bit, organize it a little bit, and make it a little more accessible to more variety of our community. So I've been talking about that. I bought a new vacuum, and that was a big deal. So I've been talking a little bit about that too.
You're so domestic.
Yeah, I'm very domestic.
It's like the Pride Center HGTV edition.
Right. Maybe we should be doing something like that, But it's, to me, the facility, the community center is more than just a place that houses the computers that we work on, or a place that provides office space for the staff. The facility is part of what we offer to our community, and so I want to make sure that people feel like the community center is a place they can come and hang out. It's a place that they can call home, and so we've got to do a few little things to make that happen.
Yeah, I feel like when there's an organization that's been around for so long, the education around it sometimes falls off, because you assume that everyone knows everything about it. Mm-hmm. But for instance, I don't think I've stepped foot in the Pride Center. So, I mean, that right there, I mean, not that I'm the be all end all, but I'm just saying,
Emoji Nightmare has not stepped foot in that establishment.
But I mean, I would love to. And I don't know, why would I guess, so
and
there's
that's
that
what
whole,
we have to ask. Why haven't you? That's part of what we need to ask, and then to make sure that the reason you haven't stepped foot in the center isn't something that we can change or address. One of the things that we've got to change is just being able to find it. A lot of folks walk by it and don't realize they walk by the center.
So where is it?
It's at 255 South Champlain Street.
Which
so
is
it's
like,
kind of over
what's
by
a landmark? Yeah. What
7 days is about. Now you're asking someone who's lived here a month.
Come on. Yeah,
for
but
a
I wanna-
landmark.
but, you know,
I know
that's
7
good.
days is there, and is it Hank's? Is that the restaurant that everybody love? One of the places they love.
Oh,
I
the
know it's at
deli.
the
Handy.
Yeah,
Was it
Handy's.
Handy's?
Handy's, not
I
Hank's.
think.
Close enough.
I
It
was
starts with an
probably,
H. You got it.
I was thinking Hank Hill for some reason, but
Wonder why.
but it's Champlain and Maple.
Okay.
You know, the building is also a tool for visibility. It
Hmm.
needs to scream LGBTQ Community Center. I don't know if you've all, you probably haven't
You
been to
shouldn't
Oklahoma,
you shouldn't
have
walk by it and not
You
see
shouldn't be able
it,
to walk
right?
I
In Tulsa,
Been
Oklahoma.
to Oklahoma? No,
You
no,
should
I've
try
not.
it sometime. Tulsa, Oklahoma has a building in downtown Tulsa, half a city block. They fly 3 flags every day: the American flag, the Oklahoma flag, and the rainbow flag. When you drive by that building, you know what it is. And we need that same experience with our own center. When you drive by it, you need to know the gays are here.
Yeah.
So,
This is happening.
Here,
Yeah.
totally.
absolutely.
So speaking of those rainbows, we have Pride coming right around the corner,
Mm-hmm.
and that planning committee is starting up.
Yes, they're meeting, and they're, September 10th is Pride, and so the planning committee is pulling together kind of all different segments of folks in our family and trying to put together a Pride that's going to be fun for all. This year, we're going to bring back the Stride for Pride.
Wonderful.
So warm up your running shoes.
I have to run.
You can walk.
Okay.
One of the things we
I'm down.
you could get you.
You
we
can
could,
sashay.
we could put you in a golf cart and maybe
Oh, never mind.
you
Yes,
can hand out
absolutely.
the beverages.
Can I drive?
No.
Why not? Okay. I don't know. I don't know your driving record, so
Okay, I won't drive.
in the daytime, it's great.
so I think that's going to be a whole lot of fun too. We've talked about some different ways to make that particular run stand out from the million other 5Ks, and so we're working out plans with that. So I think it's going to be a whole lot of fun this year. Not that it's not every other year, but this is my first year, so it's going to be
So
a
it's
lot
going
of
to be
fun.
amazing.
It's going to be amazing, yeah.
You'll always remember your first.
That's true. That is true. Sometimes we want to forget our first.
We'll see how it goes in September. The good news is we do things a little different here in Vermont, and we celebrate our Pride in September rather than in June. So you do have a little bit more time to get acquainted with the community here.
Exactly so.
Yeah.
And there are more and more communities that are doing that. Arkansas needs to do it because it was 110 last year. So
Well, I remember a couple prides where it's been,
hot.
yeah.
It's humid. That's the worst. The makeup does not like humidity.
no, it
It
doesn't.
just wants to melt at that point.
Yeah.
But we do it because of the college presence.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
So we want all of the college kids to come out and celebrate with us because who wouldn't want to miss Burlington Pride?
Well, and when the university's that big of a part of your community, you want them to be part of Pride. So I like the idea that it's in September. Texas does theirs in September too.
Oh, well then, hey.
So,
Phoenix does theirs in April, and you can imagine why.
Yeah. 'Cause
April.
I have been there in August.
Yeah.
And I just about lost my hand touching a seatbelt.
Oh my, yes. Yeah.
So,
You
yeah.
have to be careful
You
there.
do. Wear mittens. Oven mitts.
Or those big long gloves, that you wear that the steel workers wear. I don't know what
Oh,
those are
I've
called.
seen those
That's what we
on
need.
some people.
The full length.
full-length gloves?
The full length gloves.
There you go.
Yeah.
Some queens wear those a lot.
Oh,
Make
yeah.
them look nice.
So the Pride Center is doing a whole bunch of stuff. There's a lot of programming besides just the planning committee for Pride. So what else does the Pride Center offer?
Well, in July, we're doing the Whatever Floats Your Boat, boat dance
Yes,
party.
July 22nd.
July 22nd.
Oh, I'm up on my dates. I'm so excited about this.
3 levels of dancing and dining, and
You could be a top, a bottom, or verse.
or what do they call it? A switch.
Yeah, exactly.
There
Yeah,
you go.
switch hitter.
So-
By the way, I love the name of it.
Do you?
Whatever
Influencer
floats your boat.
Yeah.
Amazing for
I
a boat
don't know who
party.
came up with that, but we do have some incredibly talented people who are part of the Pride Center, who either volunteer or on staff, and so they would have come up with that name. But I think that'll be a real fun event. And the thing about this event is the tickets are sliding scale, because we want to make sure that everyone can participate. And so, there's a certain amount that we need to raise in order to make sure that we're breaking even. But a person can, go anywhere, I think $0 to $50 are the price of the tickets. And so you choose where you want to be on that sliding scale, and that means everyone can come out and enjoy themselves.
And did I say it correctly? If you don't want to have to make that price decision, the standard ticket is $35?
That I'll have to double check,
Okay.
because that was set when I was on the road last week when that was set.
Gotcha.
But I know that a lot of folks seem to be buying the tickets anywhere between $30 and $50.
Great.
But
good
it
sign.
really is, we want everyone to be there. I mean, this boat holds like 300 people. So
Want to fill the boat.
we want to fill the boat. That's right.
And so we're taking a cruise out on Lake Champlain.
Yes.
Is that okay? And what else is happening?
On the boat? or-
Yeah. What? Yeah. If I
I
get
think
on
they're
this
still
boat.
they're still kind of putting it together, but I've
Okay.
heard rumors of
Drag queens?
Potentially, and maybe a live
fun.
show if y'all are into that.
Definitely. I might be. I mean, if you saw the last episode, I could be spinning with DJ Rob Douglas by then. Who knows?
Maybe.
So I know the committee is still putting together some of the details of what's happening on the boat, but it's going to just be fun, just plain old fun. And so whatever we do, you've got to be a part of it. But I did
I am
hear.
not missing the cruise.
It should be nice, and it's that time of the day we're going to see the sunset and all of that kind of a
Nice
thing.
sunset cruise.
Yeah.
That's great. So to buy tickets, I'm sure it's on your website.
Yes, you can go to the website, pridecentervt.org, get all the information that you need. If you need additional information, email or give us a call, but everything should be on the website. And then the event is on the Facebook page. So you can go to that event page and get all of the information. We have, we've started up a running club. We have our current programs going.
So many physical activities. I know. What about for those that are a little bit more laid back?
We're working on some of those. We have the Momentum group that has coming back and
Is it building momentum?
and building momentum, exactly. So kicking off and getting that program back up and running. And so we're just
And what is that?
that's basically kind of a social club for individuals who are 40 and over. And they're planning a variety of activities, happy hours during the week, that sort of a thing.
That's great, because I feel like what I've seen in the years past, as far as criticism from some of the community members, is the diversification of events, especially around Pride, and making sure that there's something for everyone, really. I mean, because that's what it's about, inclusivity.
Well, it's a challenge for all LGBTQ community centers. Our family is diverse and vast, and there are people of all ages, all life experiences, all belief systems in our family, and we have to make sure that we understand that and that we understand how to serve that diverse community. And that's one of the things that's kind of driving that needs assessment. We need to know who is here in Vermont and who is it that is not being served by the Pride Center. And that's kind of another thing that I've heard is you're the Pride Center of Vermont, but you don't seem to do anything, 10 miles outside of your center radius. And so we need to really look at how it is that we can serve our community that's living in other segments of Vermont, and how is it that we can connect with the other organizations across the state, and just make sure that people living here feel like they are a part of the center, because it is the community center, not my center, not your center. It's the community center.
Not to put you on the spot, but which I feel like I've been doing
I'm about to.
constantly. Get ready for
That's
it.
all right.
But so how are you going to approach that? Bringing Vermont, for being a smaller state, we are definitely, there's parts of Vermont that are very disconnected. So how is it that you are going to do this?
How are we going to kind of
how are we doing
serve?
this?
Well, I will say for one thing, it's a little bit of a chicken egg situation, because it's like you need funding to get out into the other parts of the state. Serving the other parts of the state will help build our visibility so that we have more funding opportunities. So it's kind of, we're just really that, I'm hoping that the needs assessment will tell us where folks are at and how it is that they want to participate. Is it a matter of having a traveling kind of program? Is it a matter of satellite offices? None of that we know right now. We just know that it's something we have to address.
And the needs assessment is happening. How is that going to be sort of raveled and spread through the community? How is someone going to know to participate in that?
We're just now talking about it, so we haven't put together what that assessment's going to look like, how many questions it's going to entail. It's one of those things where we need the information, but if we make it too long, people won't fill it out.
Yeah.
But in terms of getting it out into the community, we'll use every kind of communication source that's available to us, whether it be electronic, mail, setting up at Pride. Whatever it is, we're going to have to use every opportunity that we have to make sure that people have the chance to be heard.
Yeah, and that takes time and so much effort. And so, you're probably going to need all the help you can get as far as volunteers and spreading the word.
We're probably going to need kind of, a little core of volunteers that can help us.
A street team or something.
There you go. Some ambassadors throughout we can get some street walkers. I mean, we can figure it out.
Streetwalkers.
But it's going to be important, I think, to make sure that we don't just say, hey, it's on the website. If you want to fill it out, go to it. We've got to go and put some real effort behind it.
Right. So if someone wanted to get involved and help out with the Pride Center, how would they do that?
Well, they can go online, fill out the little contact us form, or they can give us a call. Josie is the individual who is now our development director, and she's trying to fill the role as volunteer coordinator right now until we are in a position of where we can bring a volunteer coordinator on staff, so you can give her a call. That's kind of another thing when we talk about program development, that we're needing to develop our volunteer program so that folks can feel like there's an opportunity for them to plug in. We want volunteers to feel involved, not just used. We don't want you to feel like, well, when they need extra help, they give me a call, but that's the only time I hear from them. We truly want the community to feel like they are a part of the center and that they have a reason to invest in the center, both not just monetarily, but with their time as well. So you're going to see a volunteer program develop throughout the year. But right now, you can give her a call. Probably the biggest need for volunteers currently will be the Pride event in September. We'll need a lot of volunteers for the run. You can just stand there and hand out water.
Oh, okay.
You can do that.
I can do that. I can
Throw
stand.
water on people
We're
as they
very
run
Capable
by.
of standing.
Standing and
Still
looking
look
pretty. Yeah, we're good at
or
that.
marginally pretty.
All depends on how
In the
hot it
daytime,
is.
it's a little, in the studio lighting.
Right. I mean, something else I remember, not to bring up more running, sorry, Emoji.
Oh, me too. Yeah, I know where you're going because I had the same thought.
The high heel run?
Yeah, but
the high heel race?
But I think that came down to insurance issues and liability, which no one really likes to talk about. But maybe you can set the record straightish.
Do you know about the high heel race?
I don't know about the high heel race in this area. They do a high heel race in Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Well, if Fayetteville does it, Fayetteville or Fayetteville?
Fayetteville.
Okay, it's the accent, I think. You
like I can spell it for you.
Fayetteville. I love it. I do love the accent. I have a thing for people with accents. But if Fayetteville has a high heel run, we maybe should bring it back. Although ours was on Church Street, and I'm sure you've walked Church Street.
The bricks are a little...
The cobblestone, the
That
brick,
makes it a little tough.
uneven ground. I mean, I trip wearing sneakers on that street. So.
Makes it. I tripped on a sidewalk a few years ago and broke my elbow, so I definitely could not be running in any high heels. That was a concern there too. This is putting people at risk of hurting themselves greatly.
Sign a waiver, right? I mean, it's all for pride.
Well, I think the thing about waivers is you may sign it, but it doesn't mean you're not going to sue.
Oh, okay.
You try your best. It's still a piece of paper.
What it kind of comes down to, and it's something that we faced a whole lot in Girl Scouts as well. How do you provide programming that's fun, exciting, engaging, while still managing your risk. Because at the end of the day, you're still an organization with assets that you have to protect. You have to protect the organization's, sustainability and existence. If people like the idea of a high heel run, I'm always kind of like, well, let's talk about it. Let's see if there is a way to accomplish something that provides that same sort of fun without people falling down and breaking their necks,
I mean, honestly, if you put on a pair of heels, like, you run that risk regardless.
Well, yeah, probably.
I mean,
Right.
Walking down the sidewalk is not. My mom she loved her stilettos, and I don't know how she did
is
it.
that where you get your aesthetic from, girl?
I don't know.
From your mama?
I don't know where I got it. My mama was a fashion plate. She was a gorgeous woman. She looked a whole lot like Dolly Parton, except she was taller.
Oh,
So, yeah. But she
like,
wore
look like Dolly everywhere? Or?
pretty close, pretty close. And she wore the Dolly Parton wigs.
Oh my goodness.
I've never worn a wig, but I heard they're uncomfortable. Some of them.
I've heard the same thing.
My mom wore them, well, as long as I knew my mother, she wore them, and she looked great in them. And I can remember going wig shopping with her, and
That
it was
is so
fun.
cute.
Yeah. So if she can run around in high heels with 4 kids, then I'm sure there's a way we can figure it out.
Maybe we just like sort of pivot it to be like, we can do like daycare in high heels without running, chasing children around.
Maybe it's
I don't necessarily
No?
want it. I don't think more people would show up to take care of
Maybe
other
it's
people's
golf.
kids.
I don't know. I know some mothers that would gladly let their children like
golf
run
in
around.
high heels, yeah.
let drag queens like just
I think we could find something you could do in high heels.
That's right.
I'm sure there's something that's out there. We'll figure it out.
Okay, good.
I'm excited for the possibilities, especially to promote all things Pride, since it is Pride Month, though we don't celebrate right now. Celebrating our communities all across the United States.
Yeah.
And every month is an opportunity to be proud.
That's right. Well, we are so excited for all the Pride events that are coming up, and we're so grateful that you were able to join us on the
Thank
show
you.
here today.
Yeah,
I'm
I
glad
feel
y'all
like
had me there.
I feel like you've just been like so warm and just. Well, I'm sure we've been welcoming. I don't want to speak for us, but like I'm sure, like I feel like it's been a really mutual. Like we've all gotten off on such a good foot with your arrival here in the Green Mountains.
Well, it has. I mean, I think the minute that the announcement went out, folks started contacting me, and I really liked that. It was so nice that, I'm still not going to be there for another month. I'm still 1,500 miles away, and people are connecting. And then once I arrived, people started connecting, and just meeting you all at our celebration dinner, and immediately saying, well, you need to come on the show. So, that kind of warm and welcoming and community spirit is certainly alive in this area, and it's something that we need to remember that we have, and we need to celebrate it every day.
Well, I'm speaking for the both of us, but I'm sure you'll agree that we are.
If you don't, you can tell us about it later.
I'm sure she will. That we are just so glad that you're here, and
Thank you.
I can't wait to see, the transformation that the Pride Center will go through under your tenure.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you all so much.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Yay! Susan Hartman was such a peach. I'm so glad that she had the opportunity to come to the VCAM studios.
Right. And just hang out and deliver some down south comfort, southern comfort.
Gotta get me to Arkansas.
Yeah, I wonder if we can do a side-by-side of your accent that you did earlier in our episodes with how Susan actually sounds in person.
Yeah.
And
We can really
test
tell.
it out.
Yeah. Sounds like a plan.
Perfect. Well, I'm so excited for our next guest.
With a Northeast Kingdom accent.
Oh, yes, of course. Our WCAX anchor and award-winning journalist, Darren Perron.
How are you, ladies?
Lovely. How are you?
I'm so happy to be here. I love the show.
I outed you as a Northeast Kingdomer.
Proud of it. So
Barton,
help me
correct?
out. Yes, you got
Yeah,
it.
I'm up on my Darren Perron trivia.
Well, grew up in Glover and then moved to the big city of Barton.
I was gonna say, what's the difference? Coventry. I mean, it's all really. It's just a melding. Orleans County, right?
Correct. Yes.
Just throw it. Just
Like
I'm
tossing
just
geography out there.
swishing my Vermont
Vermont Geography 101. Let's get the map up here and just start pointing it all out.
No big deal. Anyway.
So you are a true and true Vermonter.
Yeah. Grew up there. I have 50 first cousins up in the Northeast Kingdom. Wow. Huge family. A lot of them still up there, actually. So deep roots.
Did you get your start at the Barton Chronicle or whatever? Is that what it's
I
called?
did.
You did? Honestly?
Yeah, no
joke.
I really did. Yeah.
That really wasn't part of my Darren Perron trivia.
No, it's
but
true.
That's great.
Yeah, I was like, fresh out of college and had been interning down at WCAX and needed some cash dollars because I was just graduating. Went home, moved in with the rents again because I couldn't afford to get my own place, and went down to the Chronicle. They had a part-time gig open, and yeah, they let me cover the Coventry Select Board meeting just to test me out, and
But those
voila.
were exciting meetings. A lot of hot business in Coventry.
Frankly, it was fascinating to me, and this is why I ended up getting a full-time gig, is because they then sicked me on the Barton Select Board, and all of the boring municipalities issues were happening when every other reporter was there, but I was like, all right, well, something has to happen after everybody leaves, and then there ended up being this like huge brawl at the select board meeting. It was just the select board and me, and so I had this like front page story the next day. They were like, do you want a full-time job? And I'm like, yep, that's why I stayed late.
Perfect.
Yeah, so it worked out all right.
Cut your teeth.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I really like that story. I didn't know. But
all
not a
about
lot of people
timing.
know about that.
That's probably true.
So what got you interested in journalism to begin with?
It was really interesting because when I was a kid, I remember liking the news more than I liked cartoons. And if I was like a really good boy, by the end of the week, I could spend the night at my grandparents' house. So every Saturday night I would spend the night there if I was good. And my grandfather was a total news junkie. And so every Sunday morning, I'd get up early with him. I loved him. He was like, my favorite. And I would just watch him soaking up the information that he was getting from the CBS morning show on Sundays. And I was just like, oh, this is good stuff. So I was like, all right, I want to do this. I want to be a storyteller. So I knew really early on that this is what I wanted to do.
So you went to school for journalism?
Yep, went to Castleton. I wasn't exactly sure if I wanted to do print or TV. I love writing. That's my first passion. And so I knew I wanted to be a journalist in some way, but I didn't know if it was going to be TV or print. So I did, dabbled in all of it, and went to the paper, really fell in love with being able to write as much as you wanted. In the Barton Chronicle, they didn't tell you how much to write.
We have plenty of space.
Right, exactly. So, I cut my teeth there, learned from some of the best in the business, and about a year after I was there, I got a call from Marcellus Parsons, who was my predecessor, and he was like, will you come work full-time for us? And honestly, it was a tough decision for me because I really loved writing. And so I went to the publisher of the paper. I was young, I was like 21. So I was like, this is the opportunity that's been presented to me, but I don't know what to do. I love working with you guys. I've learned so much, and I was still learning a lot, and still am, frankly. And they said, listen, you're 21 years old. This opportunity is not going to come along again. Excuse me, you have to jump at this. And they were kind enough to say, if you don't like it, we'll hire you back. So
There you
it was
go.
a no-brainer for
Yeah.
me.
You weren't out anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Was Marcellus like a big inspiration to you?
For sure.
Yeah, right?
I grew up watching
same.
him.
So that's
Yeah.
why I was like, oh, I wonder.
Yeah, absolutely. And he gave me my first job, first opportunity as an intern there, and he was the consummate newsman. Like, he liked a good news story. It wasn't about being sensational or anything like that. You just had to have both sides, be accurate. He was a stickler for grammar. So yeah, he was awesome.
So at the core of being the face behind the news stories is something that you've written and composed and investigated.
Yeah, generally speaking. So anytime you actually hear a reporter's voice on the air, it's something that they've gone out and dug up, covered, or whatever. myself and my co-anchor Kristen then review those scripts just to make sure we're not going to get sued, and we have both sides in the story. So we act as more editors in that regard. But anything that we're reading on the air, it's either myself, she, Paul, Christine, or Kat have all written those stories. So all day long, it's basically managing crews and writing stuff for the show.
Yeah, it's a lot more work than just that 60 minutes of television.
It's 8 hours of work for every 1 minute of news that you see.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a statistic.
yeah,
that
that
is.
Yeah, because you think you have to drive to the story, you've got to set it up, you've got to write it, you've got to edit it, and then go present it on the air. So it's a lot of behind the scenes. The glory is just that 60 minutes. That
Yeah.
The 60
Yeah.
seconds like we get to see.
Yeah.
And you've covered so much during your time as a journalist.
Yeah.
Including you did a 2-week stay out in Afghanistan, correct?
Yeah.
What was that like?
It's so funny. I was just coming back from a barbecue, and I was chatting with a soldier who happened to be there. Frightening, fascinating, educational, emotional, all of the above. It was pretty terrifying. I mean, we did whatever the Vermont Guard troops were doing, and we busted it out because we were only there for 2 weeks, so we wanted to see as much as possible.
Right.
So if they were headed out on a convoy, we were headed on a convoy. If they were doing a chopper run, we were doing that. If they were doing foot patrols through villages where they'd never had any contact with American soldiers before. In some villages where we went, they thought it was the Russians that were still occupying the country because they're so cut off. It's a very divided country, both geographically and politically. So in one town, they were like, yeah, U.S. troops, and then in other towns, it was pretty scary, and bombs. And there was one convoy we were on. It was 4 vehicles ahead of us, a coalition forces. So it was a Macedonia tank, but hit a roadside bomb, and we heard shelling and bombings, and I was like, what am I doing here? Why did I sign up for this? But I came back with an incredible appreciation for our military, because they were told to go and are stuck there, and it was an incredible experience, but I certainly would not want to go back.
Did WCAX foot that? Is that that was all? That was their idea. They said. Well, is that abnormal for a small
It was very expensive.
A little station, yeah.
Yeah,
Because I
totally.
thought it was like when they sent I think Alex Apple out to Iowa, not that Iowa's Afghanistan by any means.
Although politics these days probably sort of feel like it.
When they sent him out to, I think they did, right, to cover Bernie.
Yeah.
I thought that was like, wow, they're sending him. I wasn't aware that you had gone to Afghanistan, so that I'm like, wow, they're really doing some stuff here.
Yeah, we knew that it was going to be the largest call-up since World War II of Vermont Guard soldiers. So I chatted with one of our photographers who ended up, the two of us went together. Lance McKenzie is fantastic. He's so talented. But he's also a medic. So I was like, that could come in handy. God forbid, something bad happened. And we went to the owners of the station and said, I kind of feel like it's our duty to go bring these stories back to Vermonters. Everybody's going to be wondering what's happening with our men and women who are over there, and the only real way for us to see is for us to go, because we couldn't rely on CBS or CNN, because that was only going to be if it blew up and whatever, we'd get the news of that. So we wanted to see day to day what happened over there, and we had incredible access because it was really cool because we'd pull into a camp. Some of these were like bombed out police stations and whatever, but they would see either they'd recognize me just because I'm on TV, or they would see the WCAX flag on the camera, and they were like, there was like just a glimmer of home for them. So they were like, come with us, we'll show you, we'll take you out here. But there were some really terrifying missions, and you understand why some of these folks are coming back with, PTSD and other invisible wounds, for sure.
Sounds like a learning experience for sure. But it sounds like a sense of community was there, especially just with the WCAX flag, bringing that sense of home out in Afghanistan. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was a really cool experience, and it was a real privilege. But again, I don't think I'd want to do it again because I was pretty terrified the whole time, for sure.
But you've had a lot of great opportunities at WCAX. So you had the series Becoming.
Yeah.
And can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, it was, quite a few years ago now, but it was really when trans issues were coming to light and people were hearing the word transgender, but they didn't necessarily know. And frankly, even being a member of the community, I didn't know a lot about it. So I was like, all right, well, let's see if I can earn someone's trust to share their story, because it takes a lot of bravery for somebody to come out that way, especially on statewide television. So I went to a party hooked up with this woman, her name, the Wig Goddess, on the Barry Montpelier Road, or Route 2, I guess.
We need
And-
to, who is the wig?
Yeah.
Who is
Goddess?
this wig
She's
goddess?
amazing. Her name is Claire. She's awesome. And so I called her up, and I knew that she did a lot of makeovers for trans people, and I said, I'd like to explore this. I don't really know how I go about, I want to make sure that they know that I don't want this to be sensational. I just want to explain to people what it means to be trans. And she said, well, listen, I'm having a party, and it's going to be wall-to-wall, male to female trans women, and if you want, come. And I said, well, I want to make sure that everybody's comfortable. So put it out there that we'd be coming, no cameras, just to meet and hung out, had a blast, learned so much from these people and their internal struggle, and finally owning and being their authentic selves. And I learned a ton from it and met some cool people who were really willing to let me tell their story. And so I did that, and that was a long time ago. And frankly, we've come so far even from that series, because I look back at even some of the words that I was using as a journalist then, which I wouldn't use today. So so then I fast forward 10 years, and I recently did something on Christine Hallquist, who is the first statewide, or frankly in the country, to come out as trans CEO of a utility, which is really a male-dominated industry.
Right.
And so just looking at how I told those two stories from the 10 years that were in between, we've come so far. It's amazing.
Speaking of that story, you actually provided us a clip of that today. So why don't we roll into that so our viewers can watch as well?
All right, cool.
What would you do if you felt you were born in the wrong body? Most transgender Vermonters keep their identity hidden for a lifetime.
For a high-profile CEO in Vermont, the secret nearly killed him. He thought about suicide, worried revealing his true self would cost him his job, his marriage, his family. But living in the shadows became too much to bear. So tonight, he is sharing his story exclusively with Channel 3 News of going from he to she.
We certainly love having her
He
work
came
with us,
bearing
but,
bad news to a town set for solar.
we have to abandon the project.
South Hero pledged support for a 15-acre, 1.5 megawatt solar project. But now Vermont Electric Cooperative can't do it. A wetland at the site raised environmental concerns.
We support community-based solar siting.
The utility's CEO, Dave Hallquist, pitched another plan, a bigger 50-acre project in a different location. VEC would partner with a big developer.
There are large solar developers who do a good job, who can afford to take that kind of risk.
Hallquist known for striking deals.
And it would cost our members more money.
A smart businessman at the forefront of innovative energy projects.
We have very advanced technology.
A respected leader.
The benefits of net metering.
Pitching in when the lights go out.
We prioritized our outages.
The town moderator in Hyde Park. And now he wants to be known.
Christine Hallquist is
as someone else.
Who I really am.
Dave Hallquist is transgender. Basically, born with a male body and a female mind.
I would never want to go to my grave knowing that I didn't tell the world about this.
Hallquist says the need to finally live the truth stems from a dark place, a place of suffering. He was bullied and beaten as a child by classmates, by nuns, who he says demanded an exorcism on the 8th grader because he was different than the other boys.
I learned early on that it would not be acceptable to be Christine.
To survive, he toughened up, started playing sports, and hid what was happening in his head.
I learned to play the role very well. I've been playing it ever since.
It worked. He fooled everyone in high school and college, and then met Pat, the love of his life. The pair married 2 years later, though Hallquist kept the painful secret.
She's been amazingly supportive, but I'm not the person she married.
Several years after the wedding, Pat discovered Hallquist's hidden wardrobe of women's clothing. She was confused, confronted Hallquist, and considered leaving, but eventually chalked it up to a phase or a fetish, like cross-dressing just for fun, hoping it would pass. She stayed so long as no one else knew.
We were going to keep this secret to our grave.
She allowed Dave to dress as Christine in private. Hallquist usually did so while playing the piano, alone. Pat didn't want to see it. Then came 3 kids, 2 girls and a boy.
It's incredibly painful not to be your authentic self.
I don't believe at all that transgender men and women have mental illness as a result of being transgender.
Rachel Inker is a medical doctor running the transgender care clinic at Burlington's Community Health Center. 300 trans patients have come here over the last 10 years, people in their late teens to senior citizens.
People will often talk about years, often from childhood, of feeling that they are not in the body that they were intended to, that people don't see who they are. And it can be a very difficult process for people, filled with lots of loss, rejection, harassment.
Counting the transgender population is challenging. The U.S. Census Bureau doesn't ask if someone is trans, and the number is not tracked by the CDC, and not everyone is out. But experts working with the trans community here in Vermont estimate the number to be around 1,400. That means for every 440 people you pass on the street, one identifies as transgender.
You know, there's so much shame. There's so much lifetime of shame, lifetime of embarrassment, lifetime of trying.
After years of hiding and periodic purging, tossing out his women's clothes, Hallquist couldn't live like that any longer.
You try and you try and you try, and at some point you realize, I can't fight this.
About 5 years ago, he told his kids.
You know, at first there's obvious personal shock.
This is a person that we're all around for the past 30 years of my life, and your 30s of your life, who's completely changing into a different person, and that's hard. And recognizing that it's hard, but then we keep coming back to the fact that we love each other.
The family stuck together, and Hallquist's son, Derek, is documenting his father's transformation. But they all admit it's been tough, and still is, especially now that Hallquist's transition is further along. He's taking estrogen and testosterone blockers. He's changing. And going public with his new identity. On this night, a first outing for Christine with a group of trans women she met through the advocacy group Pride Center of Vermont. A new outfit for the occasion. Makeup, hair, jewelry, and a bit of fashion advice from Pat. She's working to make peace with what's happening and still support the person she's loved for so long.
Thank you.
No nerves, just excitement for Christine during the hour-long ride from her Hyde Park home to Splash on the Burlington waterfront.
I feel happy.
Quickly, Christine found new friendships.
About 40 people confirmed they're going to walk.
Drinks turned to dinner, and an invite for 2 of Christine's kids to join.
In fact, I prefer now being out and hanging out with Christine because I can tell she's happy.
But their hearts go out to their mom, Pat, back at home, who's struggling with the public revelation.
We all agreed we're super worried about Mom.
The whole family is in group therapy. The marriage, though, in question.
Yeah, I know Johnson very well, of course.
We're very lucky in that we've had each other in this.
What's your biggest fear in coming out publicly?
My biggest fear now is for my wife and family. And how they continue, how they adjust. When you've loved and lived with somebody for 35 plus years, Forgive me, I think I'm going to start to cry. I love my wife dearly. And it's not a love. I don't need to hang on to her. I just know that this of course it's a struggle for spouses of transgender folks.
Deciding to transition takes an enormous amount of courage. It is not something that people do impulsively. It's often many years of struggling with gender dysphoria, a discomfort or depression resulting from a body that doesn't feel like is their own.
Now I've allowed myself to be who I am.
Hormone therapy, surgeries to look more feminine, or complete sexual reassignment surgery are options during transition.
Will I ever go all the way? I don't know.
Christine's not sure how far into her transition she'll go.
My brain believes I'm a woman. You know, I'm a woman. And I know that's really hard when you stare at somebody like myself who has all the physical body parts of a man. You'd say, how can you be a woman? You know, get that out of your head. You know, that's what a lot of people say, get over it. Well, sorry, I can't. Yeah, that's who I am. I can't get over this.
At 59 years old, that once scared little boy is becoming the woman she hoped and prayed to be.
Now that it's no longer a secret, it's just incredibly peaceful.
So will we see Dave Hallquist in a suit and tie again?
Unfortunately, yes. That's my costume. Do I see someday walking into the legislature as a woman? Maybe. You know, I'd love to see that day.
Hallquist has now informed her board of directors at Vermont Electric Co-op and her employees, and it's gone well. She no longer worries about losing her job. However, she is concerned about some national utility boards she sits on and whether she'll be squeezed out because she's transgender. Hallquist will send out a statewide press release tomorrow about her transition, and on Sunday will take part in Burlington's Pride celebration as Christine.
So courageous.
Yeah.
It was a great story.
Thank you very much.
It's so nice to see Christine's story told on local media like that. It's one of those things where those types of stories don't always get covered by television in general, or media. So it's nice that WCAX had the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, I was, you know, it was so weird too, because I had heard that, you know, I'd heard about Christine, and I knew Christine as Dave Hallquist because, you know, I'd been covering the utility for a number of years, but I had heard, there was some rumor mill going around that, you know, that she's trans, and so she was on my call list that day. It's so strange. On my call list to say, I'd love to tell your story. I will treat it with sincerity and, you know, an honest, open mind, and I think we all can learn from you. And so on my call list that day, and then I get a phone call saying, this is Dave Hallquist at the time, I'd like to talk to you. And so I was like, well, this is so weird.
Wow.
And so I reached out, I did my pitch right away, and she was like, I wanted you to tell my story, so let's start meeting. And so we just met for coffee, got to know each other on a personal level, because all before it was like, you know, if there was storm damage or some crap like that, it was like,
Right.
you know, always those kind of scenarios. And met her family, incredible family, very brave, very tough thing for all of them to go through, of course. But, you know, we're really open to having me do it, and it was a total honor, for sure.
So an extended feature like that, which has like a longer runtime, would you say that took multiple, like how long does it take you to piece a story like that together?
It took a long time.
Weeks and weeks?
Oh yeah, probably months.
Yeah.
Because I think it was like over 9 minutes, which is unheard of in local TV news. So the station was super cool about, doing it right. They, gave me a ton of resources and time to be able to put it together. And I was proud of it. It's probably one of the my most proud moments as a journalist was being able to tell her story.
And you were nominated for a GLAAD award for that segment, am I correct?
That one was for, excuse me, the Becoming. I won an NLGJA award for the Christine Hallquist story, though. Awesome. Yeah, it was so cool. I was like hanging out with Mo Rocca and all of these, CBS reporters. It was really cool. It was fun. And it was a conference full of gays, so it was a good time too.
So, I mean, the gays know how to party.
Yeah,
we all know that.
Yeah, it was super fun.
Yeah, and it's amazing because it seems like a community-oriented story. Like you said, we all are in this community together. We're the full rainbow.
Yes.
Yeah, brought that in. So
and you look fabulous.
Well, thank you. And we can understand why Christine would reach out to you to tell that story.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for covering that.
Thank you. That's very kind of you.
Yeah. The You Can Quote Me segments.
Yeah.
Can you tell me more about that? So,
well, it's kind of like this format.
Is it?
It's like sitting around having coffee and tackling an issue.
So would guests come to the studios?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe we flip this around sometime.
Perfect.
So that's still running. You're still doing that.
Yep.
Awesome.
Sunday mornings at 7:30 is when it airs. I usually record it on Friday afternoons because who wants to come in at 7:30 on Sunday morning?
Right.
That TV magic, it's amazing.
Right.
Well, I was watching last week, and you were discussing LGBT healthcare for youth in the state.
Yeah. Fascinating doctor. I mean, he's really, he's a new doctor. He just became a doctor, and he's starting his residency at UVM Medical Center in the pediatrics department. And he's gay. He grew up with his doctor saying things to him like, so do you have a girlfriend? You must have a pretty girlfriend and things like that. And he was like, I never really felt comfortable sharing anything with him because he automatically went there and, he said, and I think it's a huge detriment to any kids who have healthcare needs, but they're afraid because they're not either out to their families or what have it, or maybe even themselves yet. And so he was like, he wants to put his focus as a new doctor into teaching other doctors that if you have a kid that you think even might be, it has to be a different approach. And it's fascinating and the response he says, obviously, we're in Vermont though, it's a pretty progressive state, right. But that other doctors are really receptive to learning more because, some of these men and women went to school 20, 30 years ago when it wasn't even on their, conscience that that someone could be gay or identify, as whatever. And so he thinks there's a real need and, frankly, I do too.
Right, and UVM Medical Center is right on the cutting edge, having the trans department for youth specifically. So that's
super
really
cool.
awesome that you were able to talk about that.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was great. He was really fascinating. I mean, young, go-getter doctor, and I think he's going to do great things.
Well, it makes sense, like what you were saying about things just from your Becoming series to doing Christine. The terminology that you used 10 years ago has evolved. So things are constantly evolving, and I think that's important for people in the medical industry to continue, and frankly, a lot of industries, to continue to go back and get education on certain things.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's all part of it.
And I think frankly, I feel this way, and I'm not sure if you ladies do, but like that we're always learning.
Right.
I mean, it's a big community we have. It's an alphabet soup of people in our community. So I think we all can learn from each other, and I feel like I'm always learning something new, and I love that. So.
So what's new? What's coming down the pipeline for you at WCAX? Any hot stories? Any big features you're working on? Or?
I'm working on, and we were chatting just before the show.
We were?
I'm working on this series now, Getting Away with Murder, and it's taking a look at some of the old cold cases in Vermont, and there are so many, and some date back to the 30s and 40s, and really difficult ones to solve.
Like disappearances, right?
Yeah,
like
disappearances and homicides that are going to be a real challenge are being a real challenge for investigators because the killer's probably dead. All of the witnesses, if you're looking back at some of these in the 30s and 40s, all the witnesses are gone. But those cold cases fascinate me.
Yeah, because what if you figure it out?
It'd be so cool.
Then you'll definitely win more awards.
And this is not to be confused with the Shonda Rhimes How to Get Away with Murder.
Correct.
Which I am also addicted to, so I'm sure.
So am I.
But I'm sure you'd be open if Shonda hit you up and said, hey, I want to be on my show.
Make the call now. Yes. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thank you guys. Really appreciate it.
We had such a great time. And thank you to all of our guests who came out today. Please, we would love to hear your feedback, as always, at nightpainofficial@gmail.com.
Or on our website, nightpain.com.
That's right. It's up and running. You should go check that out as well. And be sure to tune in next week for our segment at 7 p.m. right here on VCAM. Bye.
Bye.